It's okay to know the basics and the theory aspect to shading realistically, but how do you apply that knowledge in real drawing situations? In this video, I'll take you step by step about the simple process to realistic shading for absolute beginners. Coming up! So in the last video, we talked about the principles of light, shading techniques and other stuffs. So if you missed the last video, I recommend that you check that out. This way, all that we say in the video will make so much sense. I've already gone ahead to draw the outline for this nose, and this is the nose reference that we'll be copying from. We are going to make this very simple, so I'll be using only these 4 pencils to shade this nose: an HB pencil, 2B, 4B, and a 6B pencil. I'll be blending with my tissue paper and a cotton bud. At the end, I'll also use this kneaded eraser to erase for the highlights. And really, these are the only materials I'll be using in this drawing. Simple and easy to get materials. First off, we want to first figure out where the light is coming from. Looking at the reference photo, we can see that the light is coming from the right. So all the areas on the right where the light is hitting will be bright, but the areas on the left where the light is not hitting will be dark. Now, as you can see, I'm starting with the dark areas. This is where the main shadow of the nose is, and I'm shading this first. As you can see, I'm using my HB pencil for the first layer, but take note of how I'm holding the pencil. Especially for this first layer, when I want things to be light, something I am avoiding is holding my pencil at the very tip. You'll find that throughout the drawing, I'm either holding my pencil at the end or at the middle of the pencil. This way I'm able to shade with the side of the lead rather than shading with the tip of the pencil lead. And also, I'll be shading using just 2 main shading techniques. In the previous video, I talked about the different shading techniques that are available, but I'll be using 2 main shading techniques here: arching and circular motions. And as I said before, circular motions is my favorite, so I'll be using this more here. So this means that yes, you can mix many shading techniques in just one drawing. So after shading the areas that I think are darker with my HB pencil, I'm going to blend with my tissue paper. And all I just do is simply fold the tissue paper and I blend the strokes using a circular motion as I'm blending with the tissue. Now, the reason I'm blending with tissue is that blending with tissue provides the smoothest of results. But there's a catch. Blending with tissue paper will make the shading lighter. Just something that you should keep in mind. So after that, I'm going to bring up the next layer and I'll shade with my 2B pencil. And I'll also use this to shade the dark areas of the nose. I'll use circular motions and arching. Since arching provides faster results, but circular motions provide smoother results, the shading technique I use will basically depend on the mood I'm in. Now, if you are an absolute beginner, something you'll be wondering is, if the left side of the nose is dark, why am I now using light pencils to shade it? Using light pencils like 2B, HB, these are light pencils. Why am I using that to shade the left side of the nose if it is darker? Why don't I just use my 6B dark pencil to shade the dark side from the get-go? Well, the answer is very simple. It's because of this wonderful technique called layering. You see, with layering, you will shade with light pencils at first. Then you slightly add darker pencils as you go. Continue to top with another dark pencil until you get that dark result. Layering is just so awesome because it makes the drawing look better. Which do you like more? This one or this bad boy right here? Yes, layering is the biggest difference between a beginner and a pro. And as you can see, even though the light is hitting the right side, I am not leaving the right side entirely white. I am still shading it to show the form in the reference photo. But now you notice that the area of the nostrils is very dark in the reference photo. Normally, I will just whip out my charcoal pencil and shade this very dark area with my charcoal pencil. But since I promised that I will stick with only these 4 graphite pencils, I will have to make do with the darkest graphite pencil I have, which is the 6B graphite pencil. So I sharpen the pencil, and as you can see, I'm not showing the pencil any mercy at all. I am pressing very hard at the very tip of the pencil so that it gets as dark as possible. If you have charcoal, I will advise that you use charcoal, but since that's not what we have here, I'm going to press very hard with my graphite pencil. And even still, the graphite pencil is not as dark as I would like it to be, but it's manageable. So after that, I'm going to blend with my tissue. I'm going to blend that 2B shading with my tissue paper. As if on cue, I'm layering that on top with my 4B pencil, which is darker. It's just a rinse and repeat process. I'm doing exactly what I did before, only that I am making it darker with a darker pencil. But now I'm doing something different. Rather than blend with my tissue paper as I have done with the last two steps, I'm going to blend with my cutting board. I usually do this when I'm starting to shade with darker pencils so that I can still keep the darkness of the pencil. Tissue will make the drawing lighter, and I don't want that at this stage. Some of my subscribers like short, quick tutorials, and this is why most of my videos are between 5 to 10 minutes long. But some others also want long tutorials, hour-long tutorials. So let me know in the comments what you want. If I get enough requests for a long tutorial, I'll post this nose drawing again without speeding it up, and that will make it about 1 hour long. So if you want that, drop it in the comments below. And yes, if you haven't subscribed, this will be the perfect time to let you know that a sub to the channel will be incredible. Now I'm going darker with my 6B pencil. I'm replicating the same process as I did with the other pencils, but because 6B is so dark, I'm going to shade it only on the dark areas. I'm not going to shade the 6B on the light areas. Instead, I'm going to bring back the 2B pencil again to shade the light areas. And after that, we'll blend with the cutting board. At this stage, the drawing is done. Yes, I've added the core shadow, the catch shadow, reflected light, and all of that. But the drawing is still not up to my taste. There are still some little areas that I want to be darker and some areas I want to be lighter. So I spent the next 15 minutes shading and blending to get it to where I would like it to be. It's all the extra time spent that makes drawings of professionals look more awesome. Look at it before the little adjustments, but look at it after the adjustments. No arguments, it looks so much better. So I was about to end the drawing, then I remembered the secret sauce. It's basically what I've been waiting for throughout the entire drawing. The shining highlights. Yes, let's leave that shining dot right there. Ooh, amazing. Now look at it before the highlights. Now look at it after the highlights. And that's it. I drew all of this with just 4 pencils. I had to fight the urge to reach out and use my charcoal pencil because I use my charcoal pencils in all my drawings. But this just goes to show that you don't need expensive materials. You can still achieve awesomeness with just 4 pencils. If you missed part 1 of this series, do this. Check out the video on the screen now to learn the basics and foundation to shading. Watch that, yes, that, and I'll see you in the next one.